screen. So, hi, I'm Alison Stewart and I'm the Hub manager. Now, basically what that means is I'm just in charge of the Hub and responsible for the work that it does. So it all started a couple of years ago when, well, as I say, I run a Aberdeen Climate Action, and we realised that so many new groups coming along that we're helping, that really we needed a network. And the Scottish Government had come out with this whole concept of regional community climate action hubs. So we talked to a few of the different organisations that we knew that were going on in and around the city and shire and said, should we go for this? Shall we try it for us? And they said, well, yeah. So we did. We put in an expression of interest. And then we decided we weren't going to wait for a government action. We were just going to create our own network. So a few of us went ahead and created North East Scotland Climate Action Network, called NESCAN for short. So what the whole point of NESCAN was to draw together all the pre-existing community climate action groups in the city and shire and provide them with a voice to power and enable power to connect with the community, but also to just connect them with each other for that kind of level of peer support and communication. So NESCAN supports organisations with climate change projects in Aberdeen City and Shire. It's wider than the kind of original members of kind of who name themselves as community climate organisations. It started officially in late 2020, early 2021. At that point, we had 13 members. By the October, we had 25 community organisation members and 5 associate members. That means like the universities and things like that, and the councils, they're the kind of associate members. Now we have 38 organisational members and 8 individual members, and that's going up. We're trying to get all the original members to fill out their membership form. It's always hard to get that started. So that's where we are at the moment in relation to the network. And this is the network in October 21. This gives you an idea that there's loads of different members throughout Aberdeen City and Shire. And now there's, as I say, there are many more. And it's good to see there's more in the city because there wasn't that many from the city. Now we have many more members from the shire. So it's really great that we have shire from the top to the bottom, from east to west, basically. So what, where and when? So as I said, it all kind of started with this whole concept of a regional community climate action hub. And when was it? It was spring, summer last year that I got approached from the Scottish Government to say, will you actually go ahead and set up a community climate action hub? We see what's happening with NESCAN and would like that to be one of our 2 pilot hubs in Scotland. So we got the go ahead. And also Thursday Development Trust, covering the North Highlands and Islands, also got a pilot scheme as well. So NESCAN Hub covers Aberdeen City and Aberdeenshire. So that's our kind of like geographical spread. We got the funding in September 21, and then we actually, so I created the kind of hub and went out and recruited, and the NESCAN Hub started on the 8th of November 21, and the funding for the pilot scheme runs to the end of this month, so 31st of March. So we're pretty much at the end of our pilot scheme now, and we've done what we kind of set out to achieve, which is always a good thing. So we have a further 3 years guaranteed funding from the Scottish Government, and hopefully that'll go longer than that, but who knows. So what's happening at the moment is that the Scottish Government are rolling the scheme out through the whole of Scotland. So they're working in collaboration with SCAN, the Scottish Communities Climate Action Network, which is a great organisation covering the whole of Scotland. Free membership, definitely recommend you to join or check them out if you're interested. They're working with the Scottish Government to develop networks. They want to kind of take on the model that NESCAN created of creating the network and then creating the hub from the network and from the network's needs. So it really comes and is very much based in the grassroots level. And that's what's really important, that it's from the communities, by the communities, led by the communities. So at the moment, there's going to be a couple more hubs that come on board for the next financial year, so starting in April, but many more networks. So the developing networks at the moment, and Scan's going out to employ 10 network coordinators through Scotland to then develop them into hubs throughout this year. So that's what's happening about the regional community climate action hubs. So just to go back to us, NESCAN Hub. So we are a community interest company limited by a guarantee. That might be changed into a charity, but it was the easiest thing, quickest thing we could do non-profit wise in the time that we had been given by the Scottish Government to set up. So we are an information, education and collaboration hub for individuals and organisations within Aberdeen City and Aberdeenshire that are working on or want to work on projects that reduce carbon, so greenhouse gases basically, and increase biodiversity. And what we want to do within that is to build the capacity and skills within the community on climate action and to support the local community and members to actually in their work, because it can be sometimes quite a lonely thing to do and you feel like you're kind of bashing your head against a brick wall sometimes. So it's to really ensure that people feel emotionally and practically supported within their community climate action work. So this is us. As you can see, there's me looking very happy in the sunny climes of Norway while skiing, and there's Tara at the top. So I'm hub manager. Tara is senior project officer. Shona with her horse at the bottom is PR and comms, and Kerry on the right is our project assistant. So that's who we are at the moment. I didn't want to start with a huge staff complement. We wanted to see what the needs of our staff, our members and the communities actually were. And so we're going to be getting 2 new members of staff that are more based around community development and fundraising. So that's what's going to happen in the future. So going back to the pilot scheme, we obviously had to set up the hub and all the practical elements, and that, you know, that can take a bit of time and effort. So that's happened now. We have our members of staff, you know, we've got all the kind of systems and procedures in place. We have gone and mapped what's currently going on. So we had a huge mapping event in February, the start of February, where we got everyone together and said, please tell us all about the projects that you guys are doing and you know what's going on in your area. And we've had a questionnaire going out and we do have kind of knowledge as well. All that's adding in, and that'll form part of a wee database map on our website, so people can then search projects in the geographical area or in the theme or whatever. So really that people start to understand what's going on, so they can go out and say, hi, I see that you're doing that project. I'd really like to learn more about that project so that I can do that too. So that's really a lot behind why we were doing that. And also to know, like, basically say, hey, we're here to support you. Why don't you be a member and we can give you that help support that you might need. So we've mapped what's going on currently in the City and Shire. Probably still got a few things to put on there, and that's fine. It's a work in progress. But we've also gone out and said, okay, if we're going to provide help and support to people, we need to know what's currently there support service wise, so we don't duplicate. Because the last thing we want is to give support where actually somebody else is. So we want to maximize the kind of efficiency and ensure that there's no duplication, so that our money will stretch further basically. So we've gone out and chatted to lots of different support services and said, what exactly do you do help-wise in relation to community climate action? And we're putting that on our website as well. And also we've got a resource database for our staff to be able to then, when they're discussing things with people that are asking for help, that they know exactly where to direct them. And where there isn't anyone to direct them, then we can then provide even more support in relation to that particular area. So that's what we've been doing. We've also been asking our members what help and services they want, so we can grow in the right direction, and creating an ongoing business plan and creating our website and social media and comms. So our website is currently a holding page, but we've been madly creating content for it. And by the end of this next week, we should have pretty much a fully formed website up and running, which is fantastic. And as I said, so what we've been doing is we want it to be a resource rich website. So people go on and say, okay, how do I create a community group? And they'll get lots of information and guides on how to do that, but also organizations like, for instance, ACFO or AVA, who can help them through that whole process. And also, as I say, we'll have a map of our members and it'll also have a map of projects so people can search there. So people are interested to know what's going on in the local area, and perhaps are thinking about setting up a group. They might actually just want to join their existing group instead. So that's what we're basically saying. First, see if there is a group, and if there isn't, then you can maybe create your own. And we're also obviously organising Climate Week Northeast, which we have done because we're here on the very first day of Climate Week, of 10 days of amazing events. So that's what we have done and are doing right now. But what is next? So we continue obviously to provide tailored support and advice, and we're going to continue and do in more depth support of fundraising, and we do provide seed funding as well. So at the moment we've just finished our seed funding for this financial year. So anybody who's doing community climate action project, who's a community-led organisation or non-profit social enterprise, can apply for up to £500 of seed funding, and it's on a first come first served basis. So that will also be coming out in the next financial year too, so just to help with those projects that actually you don't get an awful lot of funding for. They're too small for a lot of funders. So that's what we've been doing too, but also helping our members with training on fundraising, which we're doing at the moment with a really amazing experienced fundraiser, and also trying to help them with their funding applications. So that's what we're going to be doing more of, because we're getting 2 new community development officers, one of which at least will have a lot of experience in fundraising, hopefully. We're going to continue to signpost and provide training and development events, and develop their website and helpful resources. We're creating themed working groups with our members so that people can work with each other in certain aspects, be it food or circular economy or nature, and really use the expertise that we have, because there's an awful lot of expertise within the current membership of NESCAN as well. A lot of our members have said they want to have help on consultations. So a lot of the government, local and central, and will put out consultations in certain areas that really impact on communities and climate change. So we'll be helping with that. We currently are. We're working on a national planning framework for response as well that members can use, kind of modify and use in their own name. And what we're hoping to do the next year is actually create a video database of projects that are currently going on in the city and shire, so we can pop that on our website, and we're going to have film nights and fairs to celebrate that through the city and shire. Another thing that we're really conscious of is that we want to help to encourage community climate action. So where there is little community climate action going on, we want to go into some of those areas and do some community climate assemblies. So we're hoping to do that in 5 different places, which is really ambitious. So watch this space. And from that, we hope to create some sort of toolkit that we can then give to other community groups to use in their areas to have community climate assemblies. So I think that's really quite ambitious, what we hope to do in the next year, and I hope that you agree. But that's what we're planning to do. So then why should you be a member? And I'm hoping that some of you, I know it's quite academic, but you never know, you can be individual members of NESCAN too. So we can give dedicated help and support. It means that you are connected to others, that you gain peer support with your projects, and that you can have partnership opportunities, particularly in the kind of funding sphere at the moment, where it's really looked upon very favourably if you have partners. It's a good idea. And you can also partner in relation to campaigns or projects as well. You get a monthly NESCAN members newsletter, which you can sign up to anyway. So if you don't want to be a member, but just want to get a newsletter, then just sign up for that on our webpage as well. We have every 2 months an NESCAN member meetings where you can meet and discuss things with other members. You get notifications, events and networking opportunities. So we don't just give the newsletter, we also communicate with our members about things that are quite urgent, like maybe consultations coming up or other things we think might be of interest. And obviously the opportunity to attend free training session and event, and our NESCAN seed funding and publicity for your projects, and hopefully gaining volunteers through our website and other services. So that's basically what you get being a NESCAN member. So who can be members? Well, any community-led organisation or non-profit social enterprise or individual within Aberdeen City and Aberdeenshire can join. It's completely free to join NESCAN, the network, but we have a kind of different membership of NESCAN Hub CIC. So because it's limited by a guarantee, we can have a list of members, and that's what we want to do. So we want to have members that then can come and vote and give input into the direction that NESCAN Hub CIC is going. So if you're interested in that membership, then you have to pay £1. It's just a very kind of technical, legal constitution aspect. But if you're a member of NESCAN Hub CIC, you're also a member of NESCAN as well. But obviously, if you're going to be a member of NESCAN or NESCAN Hub, you have to support NESCAN's vision on objectives in relation to supporting and developing community climate action. So how do you go about doing it? Well, there's a simple form is going to go onto our website, nescan.org, by the end of next week, or you can email in the meantime, tara@nescan.org. So there she is waving at you. And as I say, it's completely free to be a NESCAN member, and it's just £1 to be a NESCAN Hub CIC member. But it's very simple. There's one membership form. And if you want to just follow us, and then because this is all of our social media information. So that's our info@nescan.org. So you can email us if you haven't got our individual, but basically it's just our names plus nescan.org if you want to get in contact with any of us. Facebook, obviously NESCAN Hub, and the same with Instagram and with Twitter as well. Okay, so that was a whistle-stop tour of NESCAN Hub, and we're going to stop our recording now, and then we're just going to have